Hi there. In this video, we'll be discussing the 3 ways on how we can solve linear systems. So to start, first, recall that in the previous video, we learned about the solution of a linear system. We know that this is just the intersection of the given equations. As an example, we had the system x plus y equals 2 and x minus y equals 4. We showed that its solution is given by the point 3, -1. Now the question is, how do we obtain this value from scratch? So here I present the 3 methods in solving linear systems: the graphing method, the elimination method, and the substitution method. To understand how these methods work, we'll have an example. So in this example, we're tasked to find the solution of the given system 3x plus y equals 15 and x plus 2y equals 10. So we will try to showcase all the methods using this given example. So let's start with the graphing method. So this method is useful when we are given a graphing calculator. For instance, using Desmos, we obtain this graph. Notice here that clearly the intersection of the two equations is at the point 4, 3. So given that, we know that the solution to this linear system is the point 4, 3. The only downside with this method is that it isn't that accurate when we do it by hand or without graphing calculators. So we won't really be dealing with this method that much, as we'll focus more on the 2 other methods, since if we only have a ball pen or a pen and a paper, the other 2 methods are much better since it is done algebraically. So given that, we move to the elimination method. So the idea here is that we first eliminate one of the variables. Say in this one, we eliminate x. So we can do that by multiplying some certain values out here and then adding the 2 equations. After we eliminated one of the variables, we then solve for y, or the other variable that wasn't eliminated. So to understand this better, let's apply this method to the given. So in this one, let's try to eliminate x. What do we need to multiply in this one to be able to eliminate x when we add the 2 equations? Well, we can multiply this equation by -3, since multiplying -3 out here will give us -3x. So 3x minus 3x will give us 0. So we will be able to eliminate the variable x. So let's do that one. So we multiply -3 out here. By doing that, we obtained 3x plus y equals 15 and -3x minus 6y equals -30. From here, we add these 2 equations. So in here, we can cancel this one out by adding the 2. So we'll be left with 0x, or simply we can just remove the x out here. For the y1, we have y minus 6y. We'll obtain -5y out there. And on the right side, 15 minus 30 is -15. So we obtain -5y equals -15. Now we solve for y. So by solving for y, we simply divide -5 both sides to obtain y equals 3. So we now have a value for y. What's left is the value for x. So we can solve for the value of x by using this value and plugging it into the first equation or the second equation. So in this case, we'll be plugging it into the second one. So we have here x plus 2 times 3. So we replaced y out here with 3 equals 10. Simplifying the left side of the equation, we obtain x plus 6 equals 10. Then we move 6 to the right side and we get x equals 4. So we now have a value for x and y, combining these two, and we get the solution for this one, which is the point 4, 3. So as you can see, we got the same answer in the graphing method. This time, we did it algebraically. And so that is how elimination method works. So if there are some parts that is kind of confusing in this solution, feel free to pause the video and rewind so you can go over the steps at your own pace. Okay, now lastly, let's try applying the substitution method. So the idea for this one is to represent one of the variables as an expression in terms of the other by using one equation. So in this one, we can focus on this one and we try to express one of the variables, say x, in terms of y. So that is what we'll be doing in this one. So it's kind of hard to grasp how it works when we're not able to see it through the solution. So to understand this better, let's try to apply the substitution method in this example. So first, considering this, the second equation, x plus 2y equals 10, we can move 2y to the right side to obtain x equals 10 minus 2y. So observe here that we have now expressed x in terms of y. We then denote this equation by star. So we take note of that one. Next, what we do is we plug in this obtained value of x into the equation that we didn't use yet. So we have used the second equation, so we plug it into this first equation. So we'll have here 3 times 10 minus 2y plus y equals 15. So notice here that we simply replace the value of x out here with 10 minus 2y. And then we solve for this equation. So we solve for y. So first we distribute the value of 3 to the expression inside to obtain 30 minus 6y plus y equals 15. Then we add these two to obtain 30 minus 5y equals 15. Moving 30 to the right side, we get negative 5y equals negative 15. Then we divide negative 5 on both sides of the equation to get y equals 3. And so we now have a value for y. Now, similar to the elimination method, what we do is we can plug in this value to the first equation or the second equation. Or we can also plug it into the equation star, since we know that this equation is just the second equation but is modified. So we do that. So plugging it into this one, we obtain x equals 10 minus 2 times 3. So we just replaced y out here with 3. Then we solve for x in this one. So we'll have here x equals 10 minus x, and simplifying, this will give us x equals 4. So we now have a value for x and y. Combining these two, and we obtain the solution to this system, which is the point 4, 3. And so that is how we use the substitution method. So I hope you got that one. Again, if there are parts that are kind of confusing, you can pause the video, slow it down, and rewind back to the part that you are kind of confused. So to summarize, in this video, we learned the 3 methods in solving linear systems. The graphing method, which we know is kind of tedious when we don't have a graphing calculator or when we do the solving by hand. The second is the elimination method, wherein our goal is to eliminate one of the variables first and solve for the other one. And the third one is the substitution method, wherein we start by expressing one of the variables in terms of the other and use that and plug that into the other equation in order to solve for just one variable. So technically, that is the idea in solving linear systems of 2 variables. We try to construct the equation in terms of just a single variable, whether that's elimination or by substitution. So in the next videos for this playlist, we'll showcase more examples applying the elimination method and the substitution method, since I think that learning these methods requires more examples than just what we had in this one. So yeah, that's it. I hope you learned a lot from this one. Feel free to comment down below any comments, suggestions, and recommendations that you have for the future videos in this channel. So yeah, that's it, and that's all for this video.